If you're a business owner, you don't need us to tell you running a business is tough. Don't let QuickBooks and spreadsheets slow you down anymore. Now is the time to upgrade to NetSuite by Oracle, the world's #1 cloud business system. NetSuite gives you the visibility and control over your financials, HR, inventory, e-commerce, and more. Join the over 21,000 companies using NetSuite right now. Schedule your free product tour right now at netsuite.com/C-suite. netsuite.com/C-suite. If you're a business owner, you don't need us to tell you running a business is tough. Don't let QuickBooks and spreadsheets slow you down anymore. Now is the time to upgrade to NetSuite by Oracle, the world's #1 cloud business system. NetSuite gives you the visibility and control over your financials, HR, inventory, e-commerce, and more. Join the over 21,000 companies using NetSuite right now. Schedule your free product tour right now at netsuite.com/C-suite. netsuite.com/C-suite.
Yo. Couple things. One is a little bit more sombering, and we can go ahead and address this one and get some happier. So,
okay.
As I'm sure everybody knows, the entire fucking universe knows, Kobe Bryant unfortunately passed away yesterday with his daughter and 7 other people.
Right.
Fucking tragic situation. And it's one of those things that kind of it has a ripple effect. Like, even if you're not a huge fan of basketball, like I wasn't, but it's like the few NBA finals I saw had him in it. The ones that I bothered to watch, but it's like things like that kind of ripple out throughout the entire, I almost said Marvel universe, throughout the entire multiverse of nerddoms or fandoms, and it does, of course, always reach the nerd kingdom as well.
Yeah.
And one thing that was, kind of a cool tribute is Joe Quesada.
Quesada.
Yeah. He actually reached out and he posted an old picture that he had drawn of certain NBA stars, and one he posted of Kobe that he did, I think back in 2010. He reposted this one of like a Kobe Iron Man matchup. It was just a kind of a really cool tribute, just to to pay homage to a man that was really legendary in this field, and that kind of set a standard for what a hard work ethic really is. Like, when talent meets hard work, you get something like Kobe Bryant. So that was really cool.
That is really cool. Yeah.
And never had that's the pick there. It's got Kobe.
Yeah, it's got the yeah, it's really cool, man. He's got the Iron Man gauntlet and everything. Yeah, I was just about to look it up, so thank you. Yeah, you saved me some time.
Hey, what do we do here? But yeah, speaking of Joe Quesada, I've been looking at Marvel Knights lately because I had the omnibus on my shelf for a while now. So I do with a lot of books. And I was like, man,
right.
Start by reading that. But no, so it was just really cool timing. But anyway, rest in peace to Kobe and to everybody else in the family, and shout out to the families of all those victims. But also, really quick, in broader news, today was actually the first official day of production for The Batman. It is officially underway. Matt Reeves posted a tweet about it earlier today, so that's really cool. So now we wait.
Yeah, man, that is dope.
Yeah.
You're right. There were a couple of things there. The happy news being the Batman, definitely. That's really cool. Yeah, now we're just playing the waiting game on that thing, for sure.
Yes, and I've been waiting long enough. All right, I've been waiting.
Q, I hate to tell you, bud, but you said productions just started today. You know what that means? That means we're gonna have to wait a little bit, my friend.
It means you need
to wait a little bit.
It means you need to get the fuck out of here with your negativity.
I'm not being negative. No. Don't take this negativity.
It's negativity.
It's not negativity.
The movie's coming out this summer.
Q. We both know.
It can make it.
No, Q.
It can happen.
Q. Do you want to rush the product, or do you want to sit on it well, and for us to get the honest version of it? Okay.
Both.
Q. You know this isn't going to work that way.
I want both.
You can't ask an artist to draw a high quality picture in a minute. Okay.
Yes,
they got to take time on that shit.
I can do that.
Okay.
if Wally West or Barry Allen learned how to draw really well, they could do it.
Okay, no, damn it. Guys, I'm going to have to finish this argument with Q off mic.
Anyways,
Damn.
Welcome back, guys, to the Superhero Homies podcast. My name is Quentin, and as always, I am here with the homie Kevin.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Yeah, man. Shit, here we are. Another day, another episode. How you guys doing out there?
Well, Kevin, they can't answer.
I always ask. I don't always ask. I ask every now and then. But yeah, hopefully you guys are doing pretty well. Hopefully you guys are in a good space to listen to another one. Tonight's going to be fun.
It is.
We're going to talk a little bit about the future.
It is.
In the sense of Birds of Prey.
Yeah. the not so distant future, thankfully. We will be covering Birds of Prey. The movie is aptly titled Birds of Prey and the Fantabulous Emancipation of One Harley Quinn. That is the entire name.
That's a long-ass title.
It's a very, very long title.
I like how she uses emancipation. Like,
yes.
Damn, Harley. Okay.
Fantabulous and emancipation.
Well, she made a word up, but yes.
Of one Harley Quinn, yes. So yeah, Birds of Prey comes out in a few weeks. I believe February 6th is the official release date. The 7th, I think, is going to be the worldwide release date. But yeah, so that movie is going to be coming out here in just a few short weeks. But Kevin and I, we thought that it would be most appropriate if we did a preview of this movie. And for those of you who maybe haven't listened to some of our preview episodes in the past, what that basically entails is us kind of giving our breakdowns of these characters, maybe from a comic aspect.
Right.
And then also kind of discuss the trailers and maybe what we can expect, what we hope to see, or what we fear about the movies.
Yeah. Yeah. That's exactly what it is. That's exactly what we've done in the past. We kind of stepped away from it for a while. For a season, I feel like we haven't done it. But yeah, man, now that the new year's begun and we on some super hard track and we got ourselves super organized, as we've talked about in episodes past. In other words, we actually, adulted and made a system. Yeah, man, let's get back into it, dude.
Here we are.
Hell yeah.
All right. So what do you want to start on this one, Kevin?
Well, let's just go ahead and go right into some of the basics, man. Let's not talk about the meat of the trailers yet. Let's just start pretty shallow. Let's talk about the characters.
Yeah, I think that's most appropriate.
Hell yeah, man.
Yes. So, and I think also what would maybe be even more appropriate is if we talked about like the comic aspect of the entity known as Birds of Prey as a whole.
That would be fun because I feel like the movie is potentially doing something vastly different from the comic. Well, excuse me, vastly might be dramatic. They're doing something slightly different.
Yeah.
So I
and perhaps to the surprise of no one, movies are changing the comics.
Well, of course, it's not surprising at all.
Yeah.
In this particular case, it's more like which ones I guess are doing.
Yeah.
It's
very true. But yeah, so Birds of Prey, like the original concept of it came about in like 1996. And it was originally just a duo. I believe it was actually just the Huntress and Oracle. And it was more so Huntress focusing as like as being like the field operative, obviously, and Barbara was giving her intel. But then as it went on, the roster kind of grew, and it was kind of a revolving roster of members. But originally it was just those two, and then I think like in '99 is really when it kind of exploded in popularity, and we got more members.
Right.
But for the sake of the movie, though, really quick. So the movie roster is, of course, Harley Quinn.
Yep.
It's Huntress.
Yep.
Black Canary.
Yep.
Orphan or Cassandra Cain, and Renee Montoya. Now that's a interesting lineup. It's not exactly non-accurate, but at the same time, it is also non-accurate. For example, Harley was never in Birds of Prey, and neither was Renee Montoya. Even though both of them, in a sense, make sense.
Yeah.
But technically, neither one were members of the group.
Okay, so one big thing that surprises me. Now I don't know. I'm iffy on this because again, you're the comic go-to guy here. So fuck yeah, let's use your superpower. Cassandra Cain is Batwoman in the canonical sense. Yay or nay? Nay. Okay.
Yeah, that is Katie Kane or Kathy Kane.
Son of a bitch.
Yeah.
Well, homies, there you go. There's some clarification there. Because I'm sure I'm not alone in the assumption that, that was supposed to be Batwoman. Interesting that she's orphan. Which, in my learning of that, kind of stumped me for one of the questions I definitely wanted to air out tonight, I thought that had something that, had purposely been twisted for this for fuck all reasons. However, I'm glad to know that that's not the case.
Yeah, thankfully, and I'm glad you brought that up because that is, like, I think, a pretty important distinction. Because I think that probably could confuse some people. Cassandra Cain, Kathy Kane.
They're damn close names.
Yeah.
So I know I'm not the only one who's thought that. I'm glad we just peeled the Band-Aid off on that one real quick then.
That's not the only time that something like this has actually happened in an even odder occurrence. And I'm going to get a little off topic already, just really quick. But the villain Zaz, which of course is in this movie, Victor Zaz.
Right.
There's also like another hero that has the same name, but the Zaz is spelled different.
Okay.
And that's the question. Like the question, his name is, I think, Charles Victor Zaz. And he goes by Vic Sage most of the times in current continuity just to kind of not confuse people with the villain.
Do you think
Victor
these writers... Let's look at this from a practical standpoint. Let's step outside of the fiction and move to the writing, because that's me. That's why I love to talk about the writing and the quality content that's given to us. That I feel like is a home field for me. Do you think they just honestly forgot? Like, in creating these characters, oh, fuck. Dude, Joe in the other studios, he made Victor Zaz a murderer. We can't be doing this shit, man. We gotta change the name.
That's a strong possibility, but that's what you have like editors and publishers for, particularly the editors who are supposed to watch out for stuff like that.
True.
Yeah,
true.
And
they
I guess
make mistakes, I guess.
Yeah, and like it may be another thing, like because I think the Question, man, like he was made like for Charlton Comics, maybe like way back in the day originally.
Who's that? The murderer or the hero?
The Question is the hero.
The Question.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay.
And so Rorschach was based off of him, by the way. Anyways, yeah, he very similar look, except the Question he doesn't have any kind of thing like it has a blank face.
Okay.
Yeah. So there's no.
And he was adopted as a DC hero, wasn't he? Because
Yes.
I remember him from the cartoon, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
Yeah. He would talk but had no mouth.
Yeah, had no mouth, had no eyes, had no
Very strange character. Easy to draw, but very strange character.
very underrated too. But
so his name is also Zaz.
Yeah, his name is Victor Zaz. They call him Vic Sage mostly. That's what he goes by.
Cool.
But but oddly enough, I can tie this back into Birds of Prey because the Question had a protege who took up his mantle for a brief period in the New 52, and that character was Renee Montoya, who was also in Birds of Prey, of course, being played by Rosie Perez.
Now, what's Renee Montoya's alter ego's name? What's her alter ego name?
When she was the Question, it was the Question.
Okay.
But other than that, she's basically just a detective.
Okay.
Yeah. For Gotham.
That's interesting. Okay, so she. Well, I feel like we've already seen her in the clips then a little bit, because in the trailers, I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's talk about the trailers later here, because you know me, I'm just going. But
hey, that's what we do.
That's what we do. That's how we drive.
We schedule out a game plan here, and then we throw it the fuck out the window, and then we realize that we might need it, and so we go back and grab it.
We roughly like strangle up whatever's left of it. No plan survives the battlefield.
It's like making a new dish for the first time. You look at the ingredients, maybe on the box or whatever, and you're like, I don't fucking need this, and then 15 minutes later, fuck, what's step number 4? Okay, here we go. Anyways,
yep. Or you Google it.
Or you Google it. Yeah.
That's my sin. Yeah. Okay. But yeah, so Harley Quinn, Huntress, Cassandra Cain, Orphan, Renee Montoya, the detective.
Those
Black Canary, of course.
Yeah, and Black Canary. Yeah. Yes. So those are our main heroes, our protagonists for this movie.
Yep. Our femme fatales.
Yes. And of course, as far as the villains go, Zaz is in the movie, so the villain, of course, Victor Zaz, is in the movie, and so is Black Mask as our main baddie. Yes. But no, with that being said, I do want to go back to the comics though, and just kind of talk about some of these grassroots here.
Please. Let's work from the ground up. Let's work from where this all began and go into the movie.
Right.
Because that's something I definitely don't have a lot of familiarity with. I looked up a few different things and panels and whatnot, but that's not the same as reading them. So what's up?
So the Birds of Prey, kind of like we started off with, they've gone through a few different incarnations.
Okay.
As far as the membership goes, as with pretty much every superhero team, there's kind of a revolving door of members.
Sure.
But as far as your mainstays go, it's pretty much been Oracle that you've gotten, Huntress, Huntress had to leave for a while, and that's I believe when Black Canary comes into play.
Okay.
But then eventually we get a bunch of different members that come in, and actually for a while it wasn't all female. For a minute there, Hawk and Dove were in it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So birds.
Yeah. Nightwing.
Birds of prey, birds. Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
I have to look up and see if it was always a Bird S member. I don't know.
Well, I mean, frankly, that makes more sense for the name Birds of Prey than it does for Harley Quinn and Katana and Orphan.
Yeah, well, Katana, I'm glad you mentioned it. She was also in it for a little bit.
Right. Yeah, because that's one of the panels I saw, explaining, oh, I'm Katana, blah, blah, I'm Birds of Prey, badass. Yeah, look at me. But, that's what it said. But, it's like, what the fuck is the name? But none of you are birds except Black Canary, So it makes sense that it began with the idea of, oh, we're all bird-titled people coming together, Birds of Prey, you know? That's almost what Titan's DC Universe TV show was about to be, Yeah. I mean...
Very true.
Right?
Yeah, you're not wrong. But I do think it'd be really beneficial from here if we kind of talked about a little bit about our main heroes.
Sure.
And just kind of see where they came from, and so our homies can have a little bit of information about them.
Yeah, a little background doesn't hurt, especially to just gain some understanding.
Yes.
So which one do you want to talk about first?
Let's start off with Huntress.
Please.
Okay. So Huntress, from what I understand, or from at least what I've seen, I think that she maybe has the fewest live action appearances. Like there was actually a Birds of Prey TV show that came out.
That was 2002 or 2004.
Yeah. It was maybe 2002 or 2001.
We were young. We were young.
It was short lived. I never saw it. And at the time, even if I did, I probably wasn't too sure what it was. But the show actually had pretty solid canonical roots as far as their roster goes.
Cool.
But Huntress was in that. And besides that, I think she also had a brief stint in Arrow. She appeared in that for a little while as well.
Well, given her gimmick, that would make sense.
Yeah.
So
Huntress has one of the most interesting backstories here. Actually, spoiler alert, I think the one who I enjoy the most from a background standpoint, as far as who's in the movie, would be Cassandra Cain. I think she has the most interesting. But anyways, whenever we talk about comics, man, and particularly Marvel or DC,
sure,
there's always going to be this main thing about, okay, when does this take place? We're talking before crisis or post crisis. It's almost like you're talking in biblical terms here. What standpoint or when did this take place in?
Is this New or Old Testament?
Yeah. Or we're talking about it's post crisis. Okay, is it pre New 52 or post New 52? Like there's always distinctions that have to be made.
So easy statement, quick classification. Where in the timeline? Pre-52? What's
so
going on?
I based my research around, and I cannot be strict about this enough. I based all of my notes here tonight, guys, off of what I assume the movie will use, so that you guys can be most informed here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm guessing that means post New 52 material.
Yes, or at least post-crisis.
Wait a minute. I'm post-crisis, according to my understanding, also could mean potentially pre-New 52 and
yes.
post-New 52. So that's fucked up. That's a lot of potential. That's still a lot of the deck.
So
I'm joking. Yeah. I'm joking.
And I guess just for clarification for some of the homies out there trying to keep up as far as the comments go, post-crisis always refers to Crisis on Infinite Earths. That's the crisis.
Right.
Yeah.
That's
the
DC loves that word, but that's the
the crisis. The 85 crisis, the big one.
Yeah.
They're all pretty big, but that's the big one. Anyway, so just to get into Huntress really quick, there's two different versions of Huntress that each have about the same amount of claim to them. And they're really not that similar, actually. One is Helena Wayne. Now, Helena Wayne comes from Earth 2, so she rarely made it into the main continuity, but Helena Wayne was, of course, you guessed it, guys, she was the daughter of Bruce Wayne and Selena Kyle.
Cool.
Yeah. And her whole shtick was that she was a good girl. She was trained by her parents. She had a good upbringing for the most part. She went to work for a law firm that was made by Dick Grayson and another partner. Yeah. Life was pretty great for her for the most part up until her mother, Catwoman, got coerced by a mobster to she got blackmailed to go back to being Catwoman to pull off a big heist.
Okay.
In doing so, Catwoman got killed, and this sent Helena into a bit of a frenzy. She put together her own costume and used the tech from her parents to kind of put together her own gear, hence the crossbow. She went and avenged her mother, and then she decided from there on she was going to be the Huntress. She was going to go out and fight crime. Yeah.
Cool.
Now, the Huntress that I think we'll probably get is her name is still Helena, but her last name is Bertinelli. Her backstory is.
I was about to say, I think that's the one we're going with, according to what I see from the trailer and the movies and whatnot. Yeah. Oh, Sully.
Yep. And this version of the Huntress, her backstory is much more violent.
Yeah. Okay.
Her backstory is her dad was a mobster.
Okay.
And
that's a big change already.
That's a big change already. Yeah. She is not a Wayne. She's not a Kyle.
Right.
Yeah. But her entire family was essentially slaughtered in a mob hit.
Oof.
Yeah, and that is what sent her into a tizzy to become the vigilante.
To a tizzy. Yeah. Into a tizzy, this man says. That's a little bit more than a tizzy, man. That's like saying Frank Castle was in a tizzy when his family got shot down. He was in a tizzy. He was upset about it.
Frank Castle, he was just throwing a little hissy fit. That's all.
I just have to make fun of that real quick. All right.
Yes. But no, and so her parents were killed in a mob hit, and that's kind of what coerced her into becoming a vigilante.
Okay. Makes sense.
And the thing about her, at least this version, is that she's I think the most violent of the group.
Yeah, I noticed that you classified vigilante and not crime fighting hero like the last time. So
I would say she leans between crime fighting hero and vigilante. She does walk that line, except she is more prone to use excessive force. So for example, Bruce Wayne or Batman doesn't, in the beginning, he didn't really trust her that much, whereas Dick Grayson or Tim Drake and the others, they were more forgiving, like, no, Bruce, she's cool, we should try to work with her more.
Okay.
It took some while for Batman to kind of warm up to her, and
of course, that's normal.
It's normal for him. Yeah. He's the way with everybody.
Yeah.
But no, as far as like her skill set goes, she is a very skilled marksman, hand-to-hand combatant, and she's extremely brutal in her techniques.
Cool.
So she
will be
already
from the trailer. That's kind of the vibe I'm catching for this one.
Yes. And she's been played by Mary Elizabeth Winstead.
Yep. Yep.
I know her most, I think, from 10 Cloverfield Lane. She was really good in that movie. She was also in Scott Pilgrim. She played the lead in that as well. So that is the same person.
That's wild.
Yeah.
That's wild what these actresses can do. Yeah.
Right. But no, that's Huntress.
I feel like I've seen her in something else. I feel like I've known her in a TV show.
Probably. I don't know if you ever watched Fargo, but she's in that.
I was about to say, watched a little bit of Fargo. Never finished it.
Okay.
But yeah. Okay. Cool. There we are.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sweet.
Let's talk a little bit about Black Canary next.
Let's.
Yes.
I know she definitely had a lot of love and a lot of attention and fandom gained thanks to Arrow, the CW TV show. As you know, CW and I have a rocky relationship. That's a complicated past, my friend. So, Black Canary, what's your research say?
Yes. So she's also another one where it's like
Another one,
yeah.
Don't sue me, please.
With this, we have to make the distinction. Are we talking about Dina Drake Lance or Dina Laurel Lance? Because there is a difference. One is the mother. Laurel is technically the daughter.
I think this one is Dina Laura Lance.
That's what I'm assuming.
Yep.
It's going to be Laurel. So she's also had like a few different retcons and whatnot that's happened with her. All these, every single fucking hero has.
Every fucking one.
You can't have 80-year history without, without bringing some stuff up to date.
I mean, eventually they're gonna say Batman was, the night that his parents were shot, they weren't watching Zorro or something like that. Eventually they have to update it and say, oh no, he was watching, Iron Man.
I'm probably
in like a couple decades from now, or more correctly, he was watching I don't know, something else. Fuck, give me a minute, I'll think of another funny one.
Well, I mean, according to the memes that go around on Batman pages, like people who spend way more time thinking about this than I do say, if Bruce Wayne, according to his approximate age, like chances are.
Why are we advertising on these pages?
But they say chances are Bruce and his parents probably just finished watching Space Jam. If you look at, canonically speaking, how old Bruce would be when he started out as Batman, and compare it to how old that would make him.
I feel extra sorry for the parents if that were the case, because, I mean, honey, do we have to go watch this movie? Bruce has been wanting to watch it, okay? It's got Michael Jordan in it. Come on.
Hey, well, first of all, fuck those parents who say that. Space Jam is a national fucking treasure.
All right.
You all right, me talking shit about Space Jam?
I ain't talking shit about Space Jam. I'm talking shit about the Waynes.
Yeah, but that's funny.
Anyways, Black Canary.
I was watching Space Jam and walked out the theater.
First off, that I have a hard time seriously taking the story as much as I did with the Zorro one.
Yeah.
Just because of Space Jam.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, you died the same night Bugs Bunny pulled Michael Jordan into a golf hole.
Yeah. That is also true.
That is a great... At this point, it's almost debatably a cult classic because of the fandom of our generation following this movie still.
Oh, yeah.
Anyways,
Black Canary.
Black Canary.
Yeah, so Laurel, or Dina Laurel, technically. Yeah, so if we're going with the daughter here, which I'm assuming we are, according to New 52 on down through Rebirth, she's a metahuman, and that's where she gets her canary cry from. And her canary cry is that sonic scream that she can produce, that ultrasonic sound.
Yeah.
That is extremely high pitched and ultra focused if she wants it to. Like, this thing is extremely powerful. The cool thing though about Black Canary is that's her get out of jail free card. Like, she doesn't like to do that shit unless she absolutely has to. Like she won't just pull that shit out for any old occasion. She likes to get in the mix and kick ass. So I always appreciated about her character, the fact that she doesn't just use it willy-nilly. She uses it when she feels like she absolutely has to.
Okay.
And that says a lot about Black Canary, actually, because out of all the members of Birds of Prey, she is the one that's most likely, I would say, with the exception of Batgirl and New 52, she is the one who's most likely to be the leader, and she's the best tactician on the field.
Most likely to be the leader. You mean coming from the pages?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I mean, because she does have the most, or I would say the most extensive on-field command.
Right.
Of course, Huntress has her own, but she does take almost that more Frank Castle-esque approach,
right,
to crime
Jason
fighting.
Todd.
Yeah, or that Jason Todd approach. Yeah.
Just
which even
yeah,
that's also true.
But yeah. Okay, no, that makes sense. So one of them is more of a leader-esque role who would be more keen and sensitive to the needs of the group, whereas our girl Huntress, as we've so dissected already, would be more keen to, I follow along with the group. Mm-hmm. Okay, in this situation, I gotta go handle this, so fuck off, I gotta go do this.
Yeah, or just
more or less.
Just even the sense of how one would get information. Like, one would be like, okay, so we can do this the easy way or the hard way. Huntress like, hard way it is.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
That also has me wondering, like, I doubt they will actually see this, but I wonder if they could even make any kind of reference to Green Arrow. Saying that, of course, Black Canary, I mean, she's tied to Green Arrow. I mean, her relationship with him is definitely something that's...
I kind of doubt that, and There might be a reference, but I feel like a little name drop at most. And I have thoughts to back that up. But we'll talk about those after we're done dissecting the characters a little bit more.
Good call, me lad.
See, I can help stick to a plan as well. Look at us, sticking to plans, guys. Growing up, being mature with our nerdoms.
Sticking like motherfucking Spider-Man.
What?
Yeah.
Yep.
So the other memory that we have that is also going to be in the movie is Cassandra Cain.
Yeah. Orphan.
Yep, Orphan.
So you said you like her backstory the most.
I do. I mean, so with her backstory, she's being played by Ella J. Basco, by the way.
Okay.
Black Canary being played by Journey Smollett Bell. Other interesting side note about Journey, you heard her name correctly. She is actually the brother of Jussie Smollett, who was, of course, in the news last year for being an asshole.
Okay.
But anyways, moving on. We'll have to talk about her asshole brother. Cassandra Cain, Orphan. So her backstory is really intricate and really interesting. So her father was the assassin David Cain, and her mother was Lady Shiva, who will become Lady Shiva, the other famed DC assassin. So the thing about this is that Ra's al Ghul wanted a perfectly groomed bodyguard. And he tasked David Cain, a member of the League of Assassins, with finding that bodyguard for him. No matter how much time it takes, no matter what resources you need, I need that bodyguard. And so David, he goes out, and I think it was like on the back streets of Detroit, there was a fighting ring going on, and he saw two sisters fighting. I think Sharon and Carolyn maybe were their names. Anyways. He could tell out of the two sisters that both of them were really fucking good at what they were doing. Like, they were really skilled fighters.
Okay.
But he was like, I feel that one sister's holding back because she doesn't want to hurt the other sister. But he felt a connection with the dominant sister. Okay. So he killed the one that he thought, Carolyn, the one he thought wasn't as good. He killed that one because he thought that she was holding the good sister back. Yeah, very, very, very fucked up way of, showing that you care. But then also, in doing so, he sent the remaining sister into a tizzy. And she goes after David Cain.
Is this the word of the night?
This is the word of the night, tizzy.
Okay.
She
Brought
goes,
to you by the superhero homies. Word of the night.
She goes after David Cain, but of course it's a fucking trap by the League of Assassins. And in doing so, he says, look, so you have two options. You can either die here and now, or you can have my kid. I'm going to keep the kid, and you can go about your merry way. She reluctantly agrees to do so. And their kid is, of course, Cassandra Cain.
Cool.
Son of David Cain. This is later on. This is when she becomes Lady Shiva, like after this event. But with Cassandra, she wasn't taught barely any kind of social skills at all. She wasn't even allowed to any kind of physical contact. She wasn't allowed any kind of verbal communication either. Okay. As a matter of fact, she was illiterate for a long, long time.
I'm almost imagining, I am imagining Lady from The Boys, the Amazon Prime show, actually.
Yeah.
Like, I'm imagining something very similar. Mm-hmm. Less superpowers-esque, I'm sure, and just more overall holy fuck badass. But, interesting. Mm-hmm. Please continue.
But no, like her... What you consider general functioning skills as a human being, she was extremely lacking. Like, she's a mute, essentially. Right. For the longest time, she was a straight up mute.
So essentially, because of her psychological conditioning, one could even debate that she was, disabled in so many regards.
Yeah.
That she was mentally almost incapable at times of doing what you and I call basic things.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, because of how she was raised by her dickhead dad.
That's fucked up.
Yeah.
That's illegal, actually.
Yeah. The only thing that she was...
Oh, never mind. Not the place for it. I was about to spout an interesting fact. Maybe later.
Okay. The only thing she was taught was martial arts, extreme martial arts, how to be an assassin. And she also learned how to read people by their body language. So that was truly her only form of communication. She's extremely adept at reading body language. But no, so it's after this where eventually she does break free from the grasp of her father, and it's essentially when she goes on her first kill, and she sees just the look on the person that she kills, and she's like, "Fuck, this is wrong. I can't do this," because she's so good at reading body language. Like that told her all she needed to know. Eventually, she does escape, and she runs into the Bat family. I think the most interesting thing that at least I've read with Orphan in it was she moves to, I think, Bloodhaven with Tim Drake.
Cool.
And it's here where the Penguin has a stick up his ass and he puts a hit out on Orphan. And I think she was actually still a Batgirl at this time. Anyways, it was during this time when the hit fell on the hands of Deathstroke. And Deathstroke was like, well, this would be a great test for my daughter. So he sends Ravager to kill Orphan, and we get a pretty cool fight between those two.
Okay.
And it made a lot of sense because those two have similar trainings. But It was a very cool fight, very cool little storyline there. Orphan won, if you guys were wondering.
Okay.
Just barely. But no, that's the background here of Cassandra Cain.
And you said this was during a time when she was Batgirl?
I believe so. I believe she was Batgirl during this time.
And then after this, I'm supposing she became Orphan.
Yeah.
Which is a very symbolic name, considering that her parents have such an interesting key role in her upbringing, especially her deadbeat,
right,
messed up dad.
Yeah.
So she kind of chose, I suppose, through such a name to disown them.
Yeah, I think actually she had to fight her mother to the death later on, and I think that's actually when she officially takes it up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah. And also after
That's
this,
a lot.
it is a lot. Stephanie Brown became Batgirl after her. I'm just rummaging through memories now.
Yep.
Yeah.
I can tell. Yeah. I could see you thinking about it.
Yeah.
Okay.
But that's Cassandra Cain. She's very skilled. She's very young. Even in the comics, she's Tim Drake age, and I think for the movie she's going to be roughly 13 years old or so.
Really?
Yeah. So they're catching her. While she's like young. Mm-hmm.
I mean, that would make sense because her childhood is such an integral part in her.
Yeah.
In her skill sets and everything. Okay. Give me a second. Yeah. Because.
And of course, other than that, as far as the movies go, we have.
Okay, I can kind of imagine it. They might be going with someone. 13. I'm gonna give her more into the teens. I'm gonna give her like 16, 17.
Okay.
Well, we'll see what the movie does. Yeah, that's a soft bet. Yeah. Anyways, you were saying.
And then we have Renee Montoya, who of course made her first appearance in the animated series. She was one of the many to make her first appearance there, along with Harley Quinn. But no, I think her first episode was POV. That was the name of the episode.
Point of view.
I'm assuming that's what it stood for.
Okay. I don't know. Yeah, shoot.
It could be.
Point of Victor's ass.
There we go. Yep. That's
that
it.
was obviously it.
POVZ. Yeah.
Nope, there was no Z.
Oh, okay.
He just. Anyways, I'm just being dumb. But yeah, Renee. What's cool about Detective Renee? Detective Montoya. Detective. Gotham City. I don't know. I'm just making stuff up.
Yes, she talks just like that.
Just like that.
Yeah.
Well, that's unfortunate. Oof. Sorry, Renee.
So depending on the continuity that you're looking at, like during the 52 event, which takes place after Crisis on Infinite's Earth, takes place after Infinite Crisis. There we go. Got my crisis fucked up. Okay. Anyways, but during the 52 event, that's when she picks up the mantle and becomes the Question. But during the new 52, that goes back to Vic Sage, and she's just going back to being a detective again. Her main thing, though, is that at one point in time, she quit the Force because she was just so disenchanted with all the corruption going on in it.
Reasonable.
Yeah. During another continuity, maybe during Rebirth, she is Bullock's. She's like his partner.
Okay.
First on the Force. Yeah, so it always depends. But typically, the one thing that's constant with Renee is that she's always the good cop. She has a lot of interaction with Batman. Of course, not as much as Jim, but Batman knows in a clutch situation, if you need someone on the Force, you can go to her.
Cool.
Yeah. So it looks like
Quick question then: was
Yeah.
Montoya one of the names used in the Christopher Nolan movies? Mm-hmm. I thought so because that sounds familiar. Yeah. Mm-hmm. However, I think they misused the name if that's the case because Montoya being classically a reliable, straight shooting cop. I feel like in the movies she was one of the ones who turned, if I remember correctly.
Her mother was being held hostage, I believe, by Two-Face.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a little sticky. That's a
A
little
sticky.
Anyways.
So yes.
Cool.
But I mean, other than that, the only other main good guy, I use that term loosely in the movie, is Harley.
Quote unquote.
Is Harley Quinn, of course, being the role being reprised by Margot Robbie.
So, real quick, I'm going to use this question to help us transition from the On Page's debut to the big screen debut. Harley Quinn, was she in any of the comic book renditions a member of the Birds of Prey, as far as we know?
To my knowledge, no.
Interesting.
Yes.
That worries me.
What's also interesting is that when this movie was first being shipped around, when it was in pre-production, apparently one of the original scripts had it as Batgirl instead of Harley.
I remember that, actually. I remember that being announced. I remember hearing about that and even talking about it loosely.
Yeah. I think at the time, the idea were they were going to do two different movies. One was going to be Birds of Prey with Batgirl, and the other one was going to be the Gotham City Sirens, which was a storyline that came about. That was Poison Ivy, Catwoman, and Harley Quinn. It was a really cool story.
That's really cool, actually.
Yeah. But
Mixed feelings.
I guess for whatever reason we're not getting the Gotham
first
City
off,
Sirens.
I don't know what must have happened in the back of house. Some political red tape bullshit must have gone down because if you look at the credits for this movie already, Margot Robbie is one of the big head producers of this movie. She's the one who said, "No, let's go ahead and push this through, make it happen." So that spells intrigue to me, you know.
My only thinking is that this, I think, is something that you do if you're worried about selling a movie. Because if you take Margot out, if you take Harley Quinn out and you replace it with Batgirl, the main populace of people that don't read comics will look at Birds of Prey and not have any kind of recognizable attachment. Whereas with the Gotham City Sirens movie, I mean, people may not know Poison Ivy that well, but they would recognize Catwoman. They recognize Harley Quinn. So that's kind of two heavy hitters that you have to sell that movie. So I guess they figured they can save production costs by scrapping one movie altogether and take their main star and make her the main star of the Birds of Prey.
Yeah.
Of course, that's me playing conspiracy theory, but
I mean that's the thing. That was one of my worries coming into tonight's episode, and I suppose it's time to talk about that.
Yeah.
So, in learning, guys, in our dissection of the pages, of the Birds of Prey and their actual history from '96 and up, we learned that Harley Quinn debatably, possibly, was not a member of the Birds of Prey crew, which makes sense because Harley Quinn has nothing to do with being a fucking bird. The names originally sound like they were actually all bird related, like Black Canary, Hawk, Dove, Nightwing, etc. So the idea of this being a Harley Quinn led movie with her kind of being the pseudo leader of the Birds of Prey. First off, from the trailers, it looks like the entire movie is in her point of view or POV. So that tells me, for one, instead of our girl Black Canary being a potential leader of the group, instead we're going to be having Harley Quinn be the leader, and we see that in a few of the trailer shots that we'll dissect in a little bit more detail here, I'm sure. But I don't know, man. I don't know. Typically, whenever you have to do something for popularity's sake, so many times in the past, it has not held up to be a strong movie, either in the case of being a comic book fandom favorite or in the case of being a public eye favorite. I feel like at this point it's setting itself up for lackluster.
Yeah. Well, I guess my thing is that looking from the trailers in particular, it feels like they really wanted to make a Harley Quinn movie, which is what most people are going to call this. I already feel they're going to call this a Harley Quinn movie, when in reality that is kind of being disrespectful to the Birds of Prey. Now, with that being said, I think that had they just gone forward and made a Harley Quinn movie, and maybe had cameos of Birds of Prey, I think my approach to this movie would be a tad bit more favorable.
Same. I would have preferred that.
Yeah.
I feel like Harley Quinn is a big enough name that you could have easily done that.
Absolutely.
She doesn't have to be with a group. You
Absolutely.
don't have to have Harley Quinn in the Suicide Squad or Harley Quinn in this. You introduced her through the Suicide Squad.
Mm-hmm.
Dope. Margot is a pretty awesome choice as Harley Quinn. Also dope.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm right there in the same field as you, man.
Right.
You know? Yeah, that's
Yeah.
I don't know, man. In learning the history of this crew,
Yeah.
it doesn't make enough sense for me to get excited about it.
I mean, I guess because like I do have a bit of an affinity for for these characters to an extent, so it's like I'm always excited for a superhero movie.
Of course.
But as far as like I keep that same energy, whether I get praised for it or whether I get shitted on or killed for it, I'm always going to point out when a movie is just blatantly not trying to keep in line with what made that character or that property so popular in the first place. You know what I mean? It doesn't really matter how great the movie turns out, or if it doesn't turn out great at all. What's the point of having certain characters in the movie if you don't adhere to them?
No, that's exactly it. At that point, just like the joke we've made many times about other movies, which have kind of fucked up canonical characters to screen presentations, you're basically having your actor cosplay as the character while being something totally fucking different,
Right.
And we've seen the crime of that time and time again, and we've seen how that can dilute and ultimately water down what could have been a great storyline, or what possibly was a great storyline for the comics that you fucked up for the movies.
Well, I think the biggest problem, this is almost more of a conversation for next week's topic now.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, it kind of is. It's steering into that. Yeah.
Ooh. But I'll say this one line, and then we can move on and dig deeper into it next week.
Sure.
But I think that like one of the biggest...
That's ironic.
Yeah. One of the biggest crimes is that oftentimes the movies that steer furthest away from their comic book counterparts seem to make the most fucking money.
And see, that's the shit that bugs the fuck out of me, because that might encourage other directors who are even less willing to care about their comic book counterparts.
It does. I mean, it works two ways, both of which are negative. One, like you said, it influences maybe other directors that, hey, we can do the same thing. We can just slap the name of said character on this movie and then ship it out. And also, for people that enjoy the movie that they see that maybe don't know the comics, they can say, I really love this movie. I want to go learn more about this character.
Right.
They
for the few that do.
They go and pick up a comic book on that person, and they're like, holy shit, this is nothing like what the movie told me. This is barely the same character.
Right. And hopefully, based on their opinions, we get, a diversified crew there. But unfortunately, because it is diversified, that means there are some who will say, wait, what the fuck is this? I don't want any more of it. It's not like the movie. And those people will, shit on it, essentially. And then we get a couple weeks of bad posts and bullshit on Facebook, and that's life.
Yeah. Or for the house that the mouse built, what that can also translate into is the comic books just falling in line with what the movies are putting out.
Also, yes, which is more bullshit.
But anyways, enough of next week's discussion.
Really, it's bleeding over.
It is.
Yeah.
As far as the Birds of Prey go, like, looking at the trailers, I have no reason to think that they're going to do that with these characters. The biggest sin that I think, based off the trailers that we're going to get, is not enough time for the actual Birds of Prey and
a lot of Harley Quinn time.
Yeah.
I feel like you're right that this is basically going to be Harley Quinn and the other strong females.
Right.
Which is going to be really...
Yeah.
So let's talk about some positive, dude. Ewan McGregor.
Yes.
Let's talk about some cool shit.
Let's talk. And also, if you don't mind, I really want to talk about Black Mask's origin story.
No, please, dude. By all means, let's open this door correctly.
He has one of the most hilariously tragic, unfortunate backstories of comic history.
I think I remember it, but please inform all of us, my friend.
It is fucking savage. This man's backstory. Okay, so Ewan McGregor, he is playing Roman Sionis, who of course is the villain known as the Black Mask.
Awesome.
So his parents actually come from money. His dad owned a cosmetic company.
You can kind of tell.
Yeah. And with Roman, his bad luck started from a very young age. When he was born, the doctor fucking dropped him on his head. Now that we find babies start on their head funny.
Oh, look at this! It's a healthy baby boy.
Whoa.
It's a baby boy.
Boy, they're slippery when they come out.
I hope they talk about that. Oh, fuck, man.
And by the way, this origin I'm referring to, this is, I think he's all around just a post-crisis character.
Okay.
But the New 52 did tweak his origin, but then I think he got tweaked again for Rebirth.
Okay,
But this right here is like the longest stretch of his continuity that I'm referring to.
Okay.
So yeah, he got dropped on his head as a baby. Then some years later, at his family's estate, he got attacked by a fucking raccoon.
What?
Yes.
What? So in other words, like the Incredibles 2 movie, Jack and the raccoon, but the raccoon won.
The raccoon won. Yes.
I love it. And this kid is horrible fucking luck.
And like all the while though, his parents are like, Roman, fucking knock it off. Like, people don't need to see you like this. His parents always even put it into these exact words almost. He hated how his parents put on a mask for society and for other people.
Yep.
Like, when he was growing up, and this is actually something interesting that I learned that I did not know about him, was that his parents, like, they were so into that, like, affluent lifestyle.
Right, the elitism.
That they hung out with the Waynes, and they forced Roman to befriend Bruce. Something I did not know.
Cool.
That was very interesting tidbit to learn.
Well, Gotham City, that would make sense. If you want to be top notch, you want to be the cream de la crop of 1%ers.
You got to rub shoulders with the Waynes.
You got to rub shoulders with them Waynes, man.
Yeah.
They are the 1%ers in Gotham. Yeah.
But after this, Roman's parents, they did die. But before they died, he actually fell in love with this beautiful. I think she was a model, actually.
Okay. Makes sense as his dad probably walks around him. Yeah.
I think her name was Circe. Yeah, Circe.
Wow.
Yeah. But they fell in love, and this is maybe the first time Roman's ever happy.
Okay.
His parents don't approve, I think, because of where she comes from, and so they make him dump her. And yeah.
Oh, fuck that.
Oh yeah.
Fuck that, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Love is love.
No, his parents died, and I think they actually do get back together. They do get back together.
Good.
And then he takes over the company,
cool.
his father's cosmetic company. And in a hurry to kind of like make a big move, he releases a line of makeup that wasn't tested, and hundreds of women get permanently scarred by this fucking makeup. Of course, he goes into bankruptcy. Like, the company goes into bankruptcy. So that's the next bit of shitty thing that happens to him. And then because of that, his fiance dumps him. So that's another shitty thing that happens to him.
Fuck.
And then it goes on.
So that's 1, 2. Parents dying shitty in his case. What is that?
Probably not that shitty.
Probably less. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, they made him dump his chick. So that's 3.
Mm-hmm.
I'm seeing if we're getting all the way to 7 here. Playing with those gambling numbers.
I mean, his company going bankrupt. That's definitely 1.
That's what is that? 4. I lost count.
I think that'd be 4.
No. Bad makeup line being produced and doing all that shit.
Yeah,
so that's 5.
I put that in with him going bankrupt.
That's
with the company
fair,
going
fair.
bankrupt. Yeah.
Fiance dumping him 5.
Yeah. So just to kind of add insult to injury, depending on how you look at it, from Roman's standpoint, this is definitely a negative. At this point, Bruce, he's back in town. He's the head of Wayne Enterprises.
Yeah.
And he reaches out to him and he goes, "Look, man, I'll buy your company out so you don't go under, but you have to release your position to Wayne Enterprises. So you have to step down."
Okay.
And, this just fucking sends him into a tizzy.
Get out of here, dude. You and your tizzies tonight.
So in doing so, like, he blames kind of his parents for all of this, because whenever he really needed help, they would kind of just turn a blind eye to him, they treat him like shit.
Right.
And when they were in private, but in public, they put on this grandiose appearance, like everything was fine. They Facebook in public.
They social media'd in public,
Yeah.
and in private, shut the fuck up. What are you doing? Yeah.
There was basically like a Facebook relationship. You know what I mean? How they, if you truly love each other on Facebook, you have to post about it every fucking 3 minutes. When in reality, they're probably getting into Eminem, Kim shouting matches.
Oh, fuck. Ooh. Releasing their own soundtrack. Kim. Yeah. Anyways.
But no, so he goes to his parents' crypt, and he, I'm not really sure what his intentions were here, but he goes to his parents' crypt, and he's trying to fucking break the lock. And as he's doing this, Kelvin, I kid you not, he gets struck by lightning.
Wow.
He gets struck by lightning, and when he gets struck, the good news is that the lightning also breaks the lock, so that's something.
Oh, gosh.
But when he gets struck, he tumbles back and his head hits the stone, so he bangs his head on this fucking stone, and then he's like, you know what, fuck this, man, fuck everything.
Yeah,
like
I would too.
My life is a wreck. And his father was buried in like this ebony casket, this beautiful, elegant ebony casket. Yeah, he takes the stone that he banged his head on, and he breaks the casket into shards, and he molds those pieces into a makeshift mask, and he puts it on. He does that as like a symbolic gesture because so many people wear a mask out in public, but that's not who they truly are.
Right.
So he made that makeshift mask after that, and then he also, his parents are buried in like a mausoleum. Mm-hmm. He used that eventually as his lair, as his hangout, as his place, his place of operations, and that's when he began his career as a criminal, getting a bunch of low 2-bit thugs together and whatnot,
right,
building up his own empire, Sionis Industries. Yeah.
Cool.
Now, as far as the ending, or what I would call the technical ending of his origin, is that. He eventually goes out and he kills Wayne Enterprise employees. Okay. Because just to get back at the people that fucked him over. He also gets back at his fiance.
Of course.
He makes her put on some of the fucked up makeup he put out to scar her face.
Wow.
He lets her live though, but he makes her disfigure herself.
Fuck.
Kills some Wayne employees, and then of course Batman being Batman puts it together that no, this guy in the black mask, that's Roman.
Yeah.
And he's gonna come for Bruce next.
Okay.
And so he sets a trap for him. Roman is able to temporarily get away, but they flee back to back to his lair. What he doesn't know is that Robin at the time, who was Jason Todd, actually, this is before Jason Todd got killed. He goes and follows him there, and they eventually all meet up, and Roman, he's in like this in like one of his old toy rooms as a child.
Okay.
And while he's down there, he sets fire to all of his toys, because I realized also in my studying that he's a very symbolic person. He believes he believes in like strong symbolism.
Okay. So burning his toys, burning the relics of his past. Burning literally his last life down.
Yes. I think that's also why he went to his father's crypt in the first place, was just to kind of dismantle.
To basically get rid of himself, his old...
Yes.
To get rid of Roman.
Yeah, get rid of Roman and just be Black Mask.
Exactly.
And in doing so, the Caped Crusaders, they are able to catch up with them. He sets fire to these toys to kind of sets fire to the building. He tries to run away. He gets like the ripcord wrapped around his legs to stop him and tie him up. When he does so, his face falls onto one of the burning toys, and it sears the mask onto his face.
There it is. I was waiting for that.
Yep. And that is the last bit of shitty news for his origin story. So he's
another one who doesn't like Jason.
Yeah.
Damn.
I think it may have been Batman who actually did it though.
Oh, okay. Well, damn, bats.
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't on purpose. But,
Roman, no, stop.
Oh, fuck.
So here's what I'm worried about. Mm-hmm. Okay. Let's take all that and bring it right back into present day. Mm-hmm. Once again, we're talking about Birds of Prey preview. We don't see the mask in the trailer.
We do.
We do.
Yes.
We do.
In the second trailer, we see him put on the mask.
In the second trailer.
Yep.
Okay. So it's still a very young Roman then, potentially a mid-origin Roman.
Right.
I like that idea. However, in mentioning all that, let's go to one of the present issues here. Let me ask you: do you think, because of the tone that this movie has already given us via the trailers and the announcements that we've been receiving, do you think that they're going to potentially sit a little too hard on the dark comedic aspects of the Black Mask origin?
I don't really think they're going to hit on the origin of him too much,
so?
if I'm honest. No.
I imagine a couple scenes that they would. That they
That'd
sit
be
on
cool.
that and Harley Quinn's is like, wow, you
So-
got a fucked up life.
So, that does kind of
Hollywood.
dovetail like into another thing though, and that is like for the New 52, his origin was drastically changed, and in my opinion, not for the better. He was almost more Two-Face ish. Like he had a split personality. Like Roman was one and Black Mask was another.
I like the Prior.
Yeah.
The Prior is much more creative and fucked up. Yeah.
And
But
also
interesting. Okay.
in the New 52, like the mask he made for himself gave him like mild telepathic abilities. Like he was able to slightly control weak-minded people.
I really wish they didn't write these powers into people after they create the people, And I guess that's something comic books are guilty of, because it's like they kick themselves in the ass and they try to correct it,
Right.
Yeah.
It's a double-sided blade, because on one hand, I get it. Like there has to be slight evolutions every once in a while to these characters, maybe. But on the other hand, though, you have to think about the reception, and is this really the best thing for this character?
Right. And it's like we don't need.
I think for me, like my thing is that as long as you don't rewrite who the character is, I'm typically fine with changes like that. But I don't particularly care for that too much. I think he's just fine being like a quote unquote non-power guy. I mean, he's still like a pretty good hand-to-hand combatant and marksman, and he's an expert at torture. He fucking loves torture. I think just keeping those things intact is great.
Can I make fun of something real quick?
Yeah.
So you're in a room full of people, Q, and everyone in the room is trained to be an expert hand-to-hand combatant. Does that mean any of them are experts? They're all just hand-to-hand combatants at that point, right? They're all just people who know karate, and you're just the fuck up who doesn't at that point, right?
Well, I look at it like
how
this.
Many times can you call a DC hero a hand-to-hand combatant? At this point, it's like, DC, stop. Just stop. Let him have a great torture aspect and be a natural protege at it. I'm cool with that. I'm tired of DC saying, "Oh, this guy's an expert hand-to-hand combatant. That person's hand-to-hand." Shut the fuck up about this, please.
So first of all, that's a comic thing. That's not a DC thing.
No, you're right. That's a comic thing. But I'm tired of it nonetheless. I'm allowed to be tired of it. Damn it.
You are. But I would say for a soft rebuttal though, like
please.
If I'm in a room with 100 trained MMA fighters, guess what? They are all expert hand-to-hand combatants, and I'm the one who's not.
Right.
So it's not that it's something that's so fucking unfeasible. It's the fact that, like, amongst themselves, I mean, yeah, I can understand what difference would it make, but it's like if I'm in a room full of trained killers, then I'm just in a fucking room full of trained killers.
You're in the wrong room.
I'm in the wrong room. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe that was a bad example, but you get what I'm getting at. You get what I'm saying, though. It's like, okay, come on, guys. Comics, just not everyone has to be, not everyone had to master their karate lessons at the corner karate store or some bullshit in your small local towns. It's too popular. I don't know. For me, it's like, not everyone has to be a badass at karate chopping and ball kicking, okay? I'm oversimplifying it. I'm venting, guys. But hey, moving on. He's an expert at torture. I dig that. Not torture, just that backstory.
No, he is. Yeah. He's a legit expert at torture.
Right. No. I was saying that I'm not, I'm not into the idea of the torture. I'm into the idea of that backstory detail.
Okay. Yeah. I think that they maybe took a step back for a Rebirth. I haven't read anything with Black Mask in DC Rebirth, but I think maybe he's gone back to like his pre-New 52 days, hopefully.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hopefully. So yeah, the question now becomes what Ewan McGregor is a great call for this, obviously, because we both highly regard him as an actor and what he's capable of in front of the camera. That's a great call.
I gotta say this. I still stand beside my original pick for this role, which I may get shit for it, whatever. My original pick, who I thought would have been great as Black Mask, was Jason Statham. I think he would have made a great Black Mask.
Oh my gosh, yeah, that's really true too.
I mean, because I look at like you say what you want to about Jason Statham. He's a one-note actor or whatnot. He's the 2000s Bruce Willis, whatever the fuck you want to say.
I was about to say, I can't argue that. I think of him as a transporter, and I can't think of a role when he's not the transporter.
But the qualities that he exudes like are almost perfect for Roma Sionis. Like he can be extra, you know what I mean? He can be loud and boisterous. He can be fucking narcissistic or crazy. Yeah. Like those are some of the driving qualities of Black Mask. And also just like to add to the intimidation factor, the fact that Jason Statham can really whenever someone can really kick your ass, it always adds to that factor, you know what I mean? Like, because Jason Statham is a legit trained martial artist. It's like whenever you see someone who's really trained, it kind of adds to that. You know?
Does,
yeah. Like when I see like the like Sylvester Stallone in the Rambo movie, or I'm like, okay, well this is fun, but I don't believe you can actually kick my ass. But when I see somebody who was actually like a trained,
like Michael J. White.
Yeah, like Michael J. White. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's different.
Those
now.
are badass scenes.
Yeah.
Oh,
because
gosh,
it's like,
dude.
oh no, you're not just a show martial artist. You're a legit martial artist.
Like you guys did this in a couple of takes. You didn't have a stunt double for this. Yeah.
But no, Ewan McGregor though, I think would be pretty great.
Hell yeah, dude.
And let's see.
Yeah, man. So we got Ian McGregor. McGregor. Wow, I almost gave him like a little W there. Victor Zsasz, Chris Messina.
Yes.
Yep. I don't recall seeing him in the trailer. Not the.
I don't.
I don't think so. I don't know. Yeah, I don't recall seeing him, honestly. Because I know we saw a little bit of Black Mask. And in the second trailer, you said you saw him with the mask being put on. Yeah, I don't think we see him. I know we see a very CG'd hyena.
Yeah.
Yep.
We see a hyena. Let's go ahead and talk a little bit about what we think the plot will entail.
That's an interesting point because the roles are already being changed up so drastically thanks to Harley Quinn being made a member, nay, the leader of the group. I know this much from the trailer is that the Black Mask, quote unquote, in theory the Black Mask, maybe another entity that we don't know of yet, has reason to be upset and to seek out vengeance or a rebuttal or something against all of these females, the entire team, quote unquote, potentially. And that's what that's what seems to happen through one of the lines that Harley drops, talking about like, he's gonna come after all of us now. He's gonna come after. He has reason to come after each of us now, or something along those lines. In so many words, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I don't know. Yeah. What do you think?
I mean, that's what it seems like. So it seems like from different angles, they have all interfered with Roman's plans in some way. Like it looks like Harley Quinn maybe interrupts one of his big drug deals. We see her getting a little bit of booger sugar in one scene in the trailer.
Right.
So it looks like she maybe interrupts one of his drug deals. Renee Montoya, of course, the detective, she's building a case on him. Or maybe know the detective is tried because maybe they're on the payroll. Maybe they know where it leads.
Yeah.
With the Huntress and Black Canary, with those two, I'm not sure. I mean, maybe, and also with even Cassandra Cain, I'm not so sure.
With Orphan,
yeah. I mean, not unless he views her as like a powerful asset. Like maybe he's saying I can sell her to a high end client, for a high price, maybe something like that. They don't have to say it's Ra's al Ghul, but we can know it's Ra's al Ghul.
That'd be kind of dope. That'd be interesting. I don't know though, dude. I really don't, because I feel like they're shuffling the deck a lot. So I'm not even sure if we're still playing the same type of poker or if we could be playing, rummy at this point. Yeah, I don't know. The trailers give me enough to go on with that type of idea that it's like, okay, now we're kind of coerced to be a team together type thing, which is not an uncommon theme in these new mashup underdogs becoming a group of friends and shit like that, coming down to beat up some bad guy ass,
Right.
I feel like that's a common threshold that these stories tend to tell. Yeah. And Ali Wong is also in the movie. Do you think that she might play Katana later? That was one of the questions I had written down just to ask you.
No.
You don't think so?
No, I mean,
Okay.
Katana, technically, she's already cast. She was in Suicide Squad. I forget the name of that actress, but she was actually really good for what she was given. I think that was also actually her first on-screen appearance in anything. The actress, that is. Not the character. But no, for Ali Wong, I mean, whatever she is, she's definitely got to be some type of comic relief. I don't know if I can see Ali Wong in anything serious and take her serious.
Good point.
But yeah, as far as like the plot goes, I dig it. Like it doesn't seem like anything that I would absolutely hate. I mean, Romans feel like he's been fucked over by these other people. He's gonna kill them, and they're trying to defend themselves and also stop him at the same time. I dig it.
And you're right. The actress who plays Katana is not gonna be in the movie.
Unfortunately.
Yeah. Yeah, man. That's that so far.
So, are there any particular things that you want to see from this movie?
I'm gonna see more than comedy, dude. I'm so worried at this point that it's just gonna be a lot of like goofy, I don't mind the female empowerment. I'm cool with that. In fact, Birds of Prey at this point they're making it into the whole female roster. This movie has an appropriate lens to celebrate that. I don't want it to come across as hokey or overly comedic because how are we supposed to take that seriously then? How is that supposed to be like a thing of empowerment if all this is a slapstick humor and Harley Quinn, doing cocaine on screen?
I mean, honestly, I think this movie can get away with a Deadpool level of comedy.
It probably could. And at that point, that becomes opinionated, So I'll go ahead and hold that off because that doesn't become anything healthy for the podcast. Leave it enough that I have mixed feelings about that. Granted, the movie itself does look like it's going to be something exceptionally fun. I have a feeling that we're going to be leaving there laughing a lot, and that's dope. That's really entertaining. So that's something worth celebrating. I hope at the same time that they don't only rely on the comedy and that I actually get I want a strong villain presence from Ewan McGregor. I really want, a dark and even powerful Roman to come out of the woodwork. I don't mind a comedy bit here and there, and that's great. That's cool that you can flesh that out. But I also want a strong villain, not just a bouncing board for all these female, empowered people to come and, encounter him and to make him look like a bitch.
Yeah. So, as far as like the overtly female empowerment things, like
sure.
Typically, I feel that like you can sense that from a mile away. Like for example, with Batwoman, it was so overtly there in the trailers that it almost became cringe. Like I went from being excited about the Batwoman TV show to extremely worried. It's because there were just so many cringeworthy lines dropped in the trailer where Batwoman would say no man's gonna take credit for my work, bitch. You were in Bruce Wayne's cave using this technology, or or the lines like the suit's almost perfect. Now it just needs to be fitted for a woman. Like just weird lines to drop, just to show that hey guys, this is definitely female empowerment. This is definitely yay go females. And like I used this example a bunch of times. Like if Black Panther had been like, yeah, this movie's for black people. Like if it had just been overtly in my face about it, I would take that as an insult. Because for me, that's saying that you are trying to pander to me so much that you are dumbing down your movie because you don't think that I can get the message without it being so fucking dumbed down.
Right.
The good thing is I don't get those vibes from Birds of Prey. I mean, for me, it seems like they're taking a roster, most of which were in Birds of Prey, and they're making a movie with them and Harley Quinn.
Yeah. I will say this: the director, hopefully, she has a pretty good eye about this stuff. She seems to be relatively new at the directing game, which I celebrate. Hell yeah, give her a big shot like this. Kathy Yan. She did a 2018 movie called Dead Pigs.
Yeah,
which I'm unfamiliar with that. Have you seen that?
No.
Okay. So yeah, I'm curious what they'll see here. They put a lot of faith in her. They gave her $97.1 million to make this movie. So fuck yeah, dude.
Yeah.
You're right. I hopefully the movie itself hasn't, or the trailers, excuse me, haven't given me any type of like, especially freaking Batwoman level cringe lines, because I remember those two. Yeah. It's like, oh my gosh, I'm not gonna watch this right now. This is bad. I'm uncomfortable with this dialogue. This is just really up there.
Yeah, like it was pretty bad. And
to be frank, I don't know if that has a great following or not. I really don't. And that's a subject for another time, I suppose. And that's me just kind of like potentially poking the bear. But
I think the shittiest thing about that situation was that before the trailers came out, I remember being on this podcast,
we talked about
championing, just being super stoked for the show and for I can't believe I forgot her name, Ruby Rose.
Ruby Rose.
Yeah, to be cast, you know what I mean? I was like, yes, like I want to see her in this role. I think that she's a badass. I think that she can fill in this role pretty well. And then, getting the trailers, I was like, that's not helping.
No, it's really not. And you're lucky, and you're right. I don't get that level of cringe from the trailers. Granted, that's a low bar. That's a pretty low bar, but that's still celebratory.
Right. Like the prime example I always used in game. Like if you got Black Panther, War Machine, and Falcon all in one in one shot posing together, I would have put up 2 middle fingers to the theater. Yeah. As a black man, I find that shit overtly offensive because you're just patronizing to me at this point. You're trying.
That's a really good way to put it too, dude.
You're trying too hard to pander to me, and in doing so, you're making yourself and the movie look like a jackass.
I wonder if people thought. I wonder how many people thought that about the all women scene, because that was an uncomfortable pivot that most everybody felt regarding the movie. I mean, guys, we're not the only ones who've made fun of the scene now. This has been called out. Yeah. And granted, it was a scene that was mandated of the Russos to use, but here we are. It's still here, and we're still making fun of it. So,
yeah,
but that's a really good way of saying it. Like, how dare you attempt to pander to me?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Bravo, dude. Bravo.
It's just the way it is.
Think me. To better scenes.
To better scenes.
To better scenes. Yeah. To not pandering. Damn it. Yeah.
But no, with that being said, just with Birds of Prey, man, like it made me really happy that at least from the trailers they didn't put off that kind of vibe. It was just like, yeah, we're a bunch of kick-ass women.
Fuck it.
Yeah, we're a bunch of kick-ass people, which just happen to be women, and I think that's the perfect approach. You know what I mean? I think that's great.
That's great.
But let's see. It seems that Zaz is probably just going to be like a henchman to Black Mask. I can
see that. Yeah. More like the tendril that can be sent out to do dirty work. I kind of dig that vibe. Mm-hmm. I'm really anxious, actually, because Zaz, at least in my understanding of the character, hasn't really ever been given a great big helping of something awesome to do, Not
that I can think of, yeah.
Yeah, even in the video games, he was a serious to side missions, but, mentally to video gamers like you and I, we would say, oh, that's the easy side mission. I can do that one,
Yeah. Let's see. So I already, made mention of like one of my very, very unlikely hopes, but,
What's that?
And that is like just a Green Arrow reference of some sort. Right. I think that'd be fun.
Yeah.
I'd be extremely surprised, and I think this is even less likely, but it'd be really cool if they gave us like a Batgirl reference. Like
that would be very dope.
Yeah.
Because she was in the OG group, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, that's Oracle. Yeah.
So
post-
yeah.
Yeah, post New 52, like she was Batgirl again, and she was, she became in the group.
Right.
Yeah. Again. Yeah.
Clean.
Yeah. That'd be really cool. You know what I mean? Like, or if you want to, insert her in like the post credit scenes, that'd be fun too. In some capacity.
Yeah. Especially if you want to sell the idea of a second one of these. Yeah. Hell yeah.
Yeah. Man, I also still, not that I don't think the Birds of Prey are cool, because like I've seen, I've seen Huntress and Cassandra Cain and also Black Canary in different scenarios as side characters, and they've always been enjoyable. But man, like I wonder, man, if we could have gotten like maybe a Harley Quinn and Batgirl movie, or maybe one that still has Black Mask in it, but like that could have been, I think, a really cool concept.
Yeah, that really could have. Fuck, man.
I mean, because with that, I don't have to worry about 4 other people potentially not getting screen time.
True. Yeah. Tonally, that movie would have been drastically different in my mind. This movie here already sounds like it's going to be an awesome comedy session, which has its pros and cons, as we so talked about, and as I've so almost vented about at times. Excuse me. So, but yeah, if we had that movie, that would be almost a thrilling, dramatic piece. I would really imagine as that. If we had that theoretical Batgirl and Harley Quinn versus Black Mask potentially, that'd be very dope.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Damn.
If we did have a Batgirl and Harley Quinn movie, I almost feel like I would need Joker in that, which I know they don't want to do.
Yeah, I mean, that would really help. It would really help sell the story.
Yeah. I mean, because depending on where you put Barbara Gordon, her and Harley could both have really serious ties to the Joker. You know what I mean?
Ooh. Fuck, man.
Yeah.
Now you're getting into some real... we hitting that real drama situation. Now we're getting that... Oh, fuck, man. Oof. That'd be a really hard story to tell, too, though. Because it's like, what would Harley's point of view be if said events from that potential chapter of Barbara's life came to pass?
I don't know.
Nudge, wink, wink, bang, bang. Yeah. But, fuck, man. That's a story. Yeah, that's an interesting one. I had another thought, but I got distracted whenever you brought in that mix into it,
well, then I take it back.
Thank you. That's how that works. Yeah. Thank you. Awesome. Clarity. Oh, yes. Yeah, man. So real quick, another thought process, actually, since we brought him up, the Joker. I don't think we're going to be getting a Jared Leto presence in this movie at all.
Yeah, I think they confirmed that the Joker will not be in the movie.
I think that's for the better.
Me too.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we can all agree at this point, man, Harley Quinn, she is her own superstar. She has been for years.
Yeah. This is actually just finalizing it and sealing the envelope.
Right. I mean, that's like, for example, I feel the same way about Nightwing. I feel like most people do, but for maybe the few who don't, like Nightwing, he stands apart just fine from Batman. He doesn't need Batman to sell his story.
He doesn't need Batman or the Teen Titans. Nightwing's been Nightwing.
Yeah.
He has his own devoted following, dude.
Absolutely.
I could buy a hoodie of Nightwing design right now.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Fuck yeah. Another thought. I wish we would get a Batgirl story, man.
Oh, yeah.
It's been years since we got a Batgirl story, and the one we got was not that great.
Are we going back to Batman?
Yeah, you know we are. Silver black suit Batgirl. First off, that actress was ridiculed to hell and back, and that was unjust. Yeah. That was bullshit, The history of that movie, guys, is that they ridiculed... remind me her name.
Alicia Silverstone.
Thank you, Alicia Silverstone. They ridiculed her in the cast and crew and whatnot to
lose weight. They were calling her fat.
And she was never fat. In fact, she was very attractive. Mm-hmm. But yeah, they kept calling her fat, like, hey, you need to lose a lot of weight. It was really, really sexist. Really this is complete bullshit.
Yeah.
So I'm ready for a more present day, a more, actress-friendly version of Batgirl to be present, especially on the big screen, in the live actions.
Man, in my perfect universe where Ben Affleck was still Batman, like his live action Batman movie would have heavily included the Bat family.
That would be so damn great.
yeah.
Dude, if we get a Bat family movie, holy fuck, man, my energy just came back.
Right?
Oh my gosh.
That'd be phenomenal.
That'd be fucking great.
Yes.
Holy hell, dude. Like the Bat. Oh my god. Oh
damn.
my gosh.
Yeah.
Oof. You got me angry now, man. Why haven't I got a Bat family movie?
We fucking need one.
We fucking need one.
Yeah.
And you don't have to make so many movies prior to it to make it happen.
No. I mean, you
really don't.
You really don't. Yeah.
And you don't fuck with my Bat family members. You don't change their stories, their origins. You leave them the fucking same.
I mean,
and
the
you
way
change
I
the
see
story
it,
they're a part of. Whatever.
the way I see it, like to keep it simplest, man. In my own head canon, I promise we'll get back to Birds of Prey here. But
Will we?
But in my own head canon, man, I see it as like we have Tim Drake as Robin. Obviously,
Awesome.
we have Dick Grayson as Nightwing. We
Yep.
have Barbara as Batgirl.
Hell yeah.
I think at this point, like depending on what kind of story you want to tell, you can already have Jason Todd there as Red Hood, or maybe not, or maybe he's the main focus of the movie.
That would be pretty dope. That would.
I don't think you bring in Damian yet, because he's a more difficult thing to include in a movie of other people.
To be fair, it would be easy to tell a Damien story. It would, however, be difficult to tell a Damien story while giving all the characters equal screen time. Like in my mind, that just becomes like more of a bad sitcom plot. Whereas if we're telling a Jason Todd story, that's the whole Bat family center stage. That's fucking great, because all of them could be part of the idea of who the fuck is this? Who has so much spite for you, Bruce, that they're coming after you, that they know you this well? I don't care if a video game recently did some shit like that. I want that.
Oh yeah,
that could be that. I could sell that. But
and that was one of the things that made me most excited about Ben Affleck being like the older, grittier Batman.
It would give room to that, and they already set themselves up for it.
They already set themselves up for it. The whole Robin suit that was spray painted. Ha jokes on you. That was it.
That was it. That's all the fucking. Oh my gosh, man. The things I'll never be.
Things that will never be.
Like, for instance, another great example of things I'll never be. Remember the post-credit cutscene with Deathstroke on the fucking boat? What the fuck happened to that? What the fuck happened to that?
That excellent looking Deathstroke, man.
He was the best looking Deathstroke we've seen yet.
Yes, he was.
And freaking Jesse Eisenberg, that was the best he looked as freaking Lex Luthor.
That was the most serious I've ever taken him as Lex.
Right? That whole thing was wasted. Oh my gosh, I'm so angry right now.
Yeah, well, I mean,
oh my gosh.
Like,
I gotta calm down.
WB shat on everything that Zack Snyder tried to do, so it's really no surprise.
Fuck that, man. Fuck that.
Yeah. Release the Snyder cut.
Release the Snyder cut.
Yes.
I'm still petitioning for that.
Yeah. God. But back to Birds of Prey. We can go ahead and wrap up here with this one.
Let's go ahead. Otherwise, I'm gonna find something else to be angry about. Come on.
So with this movie, this movie would be rated R, by the way. Apparently, like they're still staying the course with the R rating.
Okay.
And I think that this movie is probably going to be DC's equivalent of like a Deadpool. At least that's my hopes. With Harley being the lead, like they had to tap into that dark humor with her. And I think with Roman Sionis and with other members of the Birds of Prey, I think this where you tap into like maybe the more serious or more darker aspects of the movie.
Now, granted, earlier I kind of made fun of the plot line, and I still have my own reservations about how serious I can take a movie that tries to go that route. However, if DC does sell this successfully as a Deadpool-style movie, but in DC's universe with Harley Quinn, that could really work.
Yeah.
And that might really work well for me, too. That is, however, a fine line to balance. And that's why I'm anticipating going into the theater next week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm hoping for. That's my cautious, optimistic hope for the movie.
That it is successfully a DC's Deadpool. Interesting.
Yes.
Okay. I'm gonna hope for that. Cross my fingers. Yeah. We'll see.
So, in order to do that, they not only have to nail the humor, that dark humor, but they also have to give us some good action in this movie as well.
They do.
Now, the cool thing about Harley, man, is that she has such an unorthodox style of combat. That gymnastic style mixed with that pure violent smashing your face in with a mallet or with a bat. Like, she has a really cool style of combat that they can really tap into with this movie. So in other words, they can get really creative, not just with her, but with the others as well. I can even see Cassandra Cain kicking ass, and people being like, "Oh shit, this little girl can do this."
I can really see that, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, Daphne, for instance, in Logan, because I will never not praise this movie if I have opportunity, guys. They made her really intimidating for such a young girl. They did a great job with her. I mean, at least on the screen, what the final product looked like after all the work, I'm sure, after all the camera and CG and whatnot. But fuck yeah, here we are now, man. And it's like, okay, Orphan, let's see what you got.
Yeah,
that could really work too.
So, I will say that I think in the second trailer, I think we do hear her speak. I think she talks about the hyena at the end of the trailer. The hyena. That,
are you sure that's Cassandra though?
Nope, I am not.
Yeah, no, me neither. Yeah. Because I would have thought that might have been Black Canary.
I don't remember, to be honest.
I don't either. I gotta go watch it again. Mm-hmm. So guys, here we are.
Here we are.
I was about to say Black Panther. That made no sense. Black Canary. Black Mask. Birds of Prey.
Yeah. There you have it.
There you go.
But no, I do hope that we get a really good showing of Ewan McGregor as Black Mask. I hope that we see that really just mean, mad, psychotic, narcissistic, torturous side. Like that's what we need. Like, if you guys need a perfect model, then just go watch Under the Red Hood or go read the book again. Mm-hmm. Just to get a better. Actually, watch the movie. He wasn't really that much, and he was. Anyway, ignore me. Go read and or watch Under the Red Hood. Mm-hmm. That tone of Black Mask, I just love in both cases.
That's a great example. Yeah. It really is. Yeah, man, that's all I got.
Yeah, that's all I got for this one too. Mm-hmm. Yeah, this has been a lot of fun, man. Talking about potential could-be's and
hell yeah,
whatnot.
Breaking down the trailers and whatnot. Yeah.
Are there any other potential cameos that we could see or that you would like to see?
Batgirl.
Yeah.
I'm still gun ho for that. Like I'm still gonna be the first signature on the petitions list to see another live action Batgirl.
Yeah.
So if I can get even a shot or a potential hope, a setup even for her to be in the next one of these, fuck yeah, man. Mm-hmm. Fuck yeah. If WB doesn't fuck it up.
Yeah. I'm trying to think who else. Yeah, Batgirl, Green Arrow.
Yep.
Yeah. Trying to think about who else.
Hawk and Dove.
Did you know the actor that played Hulk, by the way, I think he was actually Raphael in the latest TMNT movies, in both of them.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. Huh. He said he fucking hated it. Like the production, like they thoroughly mistreated the turtles because of the contract. Everybody else, they had a fairly okay time, but the turtles in particular.
We're talking about the ones that had Megan Fox and okay.
Yeah, they had like I'm pretty sure he played Raphael.
Okay.
Yeah, he played one of the turtles for sure though.
And he said that they were just really mistreated.
They were super mistreated.
Wow.
Super mistreated. Like super underpaid. That's
bullshit.
Super bullshit. Yeah. He said he spent a few like some of his best years, like he had to be that, and it accounted for nothing. But anyways, enough of that. He gets much more credit and does a much better job as Hulk. So, anyways, that's all I can think of for now, man. As far as cameos go, but I think that's all I got for this one.
For now, that's what I'm sitting at too, guys. Thank you guys very much for listening. If you want more, there's always more available to you. Hit up our Patreon site at patreon.com/superherohomies. $1 gets you most things. $3 gets you everything, including video game reviews, including old school cult classic reviews, including whatever the fuck we like reviewing, and whatever you want us to review. So hit us up and let us know.
Absolutely. We'll be doing the Witcher TV series here soon.
The Witcher.
We'll also be covering the latest Dragon Ball Z game, Kakarot.
Yeah.
We've recently done Bad Boys 3. We did The Grudge at the beginning of the year. We're always covering new movies that are not related to superhero content. There's a lot of fun shit on our Patreon page.
The Gentleman was recent, and that was a phenomenal project. Go ahead and check that out for sure.
Hell yes. But that is all for now, guys. So unless you have any other kinds of questions, comments, gifts, threats, food, supplies, then you can hit us up at superherohomies@gmail.com. And also, while you're at it, feel free to leave us a review on any of the listening sources, whether that be Apple, or if you have Google, you can leave reviews there as well, or Spotify, whatever it is you listen to us at, leave us reviews.
Hell yeah.
Good reviews.
Preferably. Yeah.
But yeah, guys, seriously, if you have any kind of recommendations that you'd like for us to cover, feel free to hit us up. We originally did Dark Knight's Metal. That was a request of a homie. We'll be doing Planet Hulk and World War Hulk here soon because a homie wanted to hear us talk about the Worldbreaker Hulk. So we'll be doing that. And then, of course, later on, we will also be doing the Injustice series as well. So there's a lot of fun stuff coming up, guys. But that's all I got for now, my friend.
No, same here, dude. Yeah, I'm fit. Let's do it.
So until next time, my name is Superhero Homie Q.
And as always, I am Superhero Homie Kevin.